Okay, good day everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss the solutions for the mock exam or your reviewer for our LT2 next week. So for the scope of the exam, it will consist of transformation of functions and inverse functions. So those topics can be found in LG 6.1 up to 7.2. Parts of the exam, it is divided into 3 parts. Part 1 is multiple choice. 1 to 4 items are 1 point each, while items 5 to 12 are 2 points each. Part 2 is a short response wherein you are going to provide short answers. No need to show your solutions. So that's 5 items worth 3 points each. And for part 3, open response or open-ended questions, 3 items, 5 points each. Okay, so for items 1 to 3, we are going to use the function r of x given on your screen. Item 1, which transformation is applied to the parent function x squared to obtain r of x. So our general format for transformation of functions. So if we have here x plus 0.5, then we can say that we have x plus minus c squared. Okay, so the variable c represents horizontal translation. Okay, if we have x plus c, that is transformation to the left. While if we have x minus c, that is transformation to the right. So since c equals plus 0.5, our answer is letter C. Item 2, which statement about r of x is not true? So isa-isahin natin yung mga options. Letter A, the graph is a parabola. This is true because the degree of r of x is 2. Ayan. Therefore, it is a quadratic function and the graph of a quadratic function is a parabola. So this is true. Option B, it satisfies the horizontal line test. So if we want to draw a parabola, okay, and if we draw a horizontal line intersecting our parabola, it touches the graph at 2 points, meaning it does not satisfy the horizontal line test. So option B is not true. Okay, so our answer is automatically B, but let's just analyze also option C and D. Option C, the graph of P is smooth and continuous. This is true since our function is a polynomial function. And D is also true because the domain of a quadratic equation are all real numbers. Next one, number 3, what is the inverse of r of x? So before we solve this, let us first determine if r of x is 1 to 1. Because if it is not 1 to 1, then we do not need to find the inverse. Okay? So from our previous question, since r of x does not satisfy horizontal line test, okay, so ibig sabihin nun, r of x is not 1 to 1. So meaning if r of x is not 1 to 1, then its inverse does not exist. So our answer is letter D. So again, before solving for the inverse, you need first to determine if the function is 1 to 1. For items 5 to 6, we are going to refer to this function as our parent function. Question 5, which transformation of f leads to the graph of G? So this is our G. Okay? So since we have here negative 3 plus x, we can just rewrite our G of x into this form. Negative 3 plus x is just the same as x minus 3. Okay, so what we have here the form x minus c plus d. Okay, so dalawa na yung variables natin ngayon. So again, we still have c, which is horizontal translation. And for d, what we have is vertical translation. Okay? So since we have here minus c, then our translation will be to the right. Okay? So minus c means to the right. And plus d is upwards. Okay? So since c equals 3, so that is 3 units to the right. Okay? And since d equals 8, that is 8 units upward. So ang sagot natin ay letter A. Number 6, which sequence of transformations creates h of x, which is negative 0.25x squared? Okay? So ano yung meron tayo dito? We have here a negative sign and we have here a coefficient for x. Okay? So if we write that, that becomes h of x is equal to the negative of bx squared. Okay? So since we have here a negative sign outside, then that is reflection about or over the x-axis. Okay, so option C and D are eliminated at this point. And our B here is equal to 0.25. So in fraction, that is equal to 1 over 4. Okay, so recall B represents what type of dilation? That is horizontal dilation. Okay, so if B is between 0 to 1 and 1/4 is between 0 to 1, that will be horizontal stretch. Okay, but what will be our scale factor? So our scale factor for horizontal dilation, scale factor is equal to 1 over b. So we need to get the reciprocal. Okay? So we have here horizontal stretch and our scale factor would be the reciprocal of 1/4, which is equal to 4. So our answer is A. Number 7, which transformations are applied to f to obtain g of x? Okay, so again, we write our general form. A, F, B. Overall, meron tayong 4 na variables. Okay, so A, B, C, and D. So ano yung meron tayo dito? So if our parent function is this one, how do we obtain G? So ang meron tayo ay the variable B, which is this one. We also have the variable C, which is this one. And variable D, which is this one. Okay? So again, A here is vertical dilation. B is horizontal dilation. C is horizontal translation. And D is vertical translation. Okay, so what we have here are horizontal dilation, horizontal translation, and vertical translation. Okay, so the first statement or transformation, vertical stretch, meron ba tayong vertical stretch? Wala. Okay, so this is not true. Second statement, horizontal stretch by a factor of 4, yes. Since B is equal to 1 over 4, that is less than 1, that is stretching, and the scale factor is the reciprocal, so the reciprocal of 1/4 is 4. So 2 is correct. Number 3, translation 5 units to the right. So since we have -5, our C, that is shifting or translating to the right. So this is also true. And number 4, translation 3 units upward. Meron nga ba? So if we try to look at our original function, so this is our parent function, okay? This will be our reference. Meron na siyang +3 in the first place. Okay, so ibig sabihin, walang transformation na naganap kasi meron na siyang +3 originally. Okay, so this is not new dito sa ating g of x. Therefore, we will not be including number 4. Okay, so our answer is 2 and 3 only, letter B. Items 8 to 9, so we are going to refer to figure 1. That is the graph of f, which is x plus 2 squared minus 3, wherein x should be greater than or equal to -2. So find the inverse of f of x. Paano natin to isolve? So since the graph satisfies the horizontal line test, then this function is 1 to 1. Okay? So only 1 to 1 functions have inverses. So to get the inverse of 1 to 1 functions, we need to obtain the variables x and y from our equation first. So nasan si y dyan? So note that we can write f of x equals y. So this is y equals x plus 2 squared minus 3. Kapag napalabas na natin si y, we can now interchange x and y. Okay? And what we are going to do is to isolate y. It's either on the left or right side. Okay? So si minus 3 ililipat sa kabila. X plus 3 equals y plus 2 squared. So to eliminate the exponent 2, we need to get the square root of both sides. Okay? So we have here the square root of x plus 3 equals y plus 2. Now we just need to transpose +2 to the left side so that y is isolated. So our answer is square root of x plus 3 minus 2. And we just replace y with our notation f inverse. Okay, so our answer is letter C. Item 9, what are the domain and range of f inverse of x? So to answer that, we need to find first the domain of f and the range of f. Okay, so since given the graph of f, we just need to analyze the graph. So the domain of this figure 1 is from -2 up to +infinity. And for the range, so from -3 pataas. Okay? Now recall that the domain and range of its inverse is just the opposite. Okay, so what do I mean by that? If the domain of f is this, then the range of its inverse is also equal to -2 to +infinity. Okay? If the range of f is this, then the domain of f inverse is also -3, +infinity. So our answer is letter B. Number 10, which domain restrictions for f of x equals the absolute value of x minus 2 ensures the existence of its inverse. Okay, so we have here a function. So in order for us to solve this, kailangan nating alam ano yung graph ng function f. Okay? Suppose our parent function is absolute value of x. So alam natin yung graph nito. This is just the letter V. Okay? With vertex at the origin. Now, since we have here x minus 2, so ano yung mangyayari dito sa ating original graph? So mag-move siya ng 2 units to the right. Okay? So mag-shift siya papunta sa right. So if we draw that one here, so this is 1, 2. So nandito yung vertex niya and nandito yung ating v function. So this is the graph of x minus 2. Okay? So as you can see, if I draw here my horizontal line, ano yung masasabi natin? This function is not one-to-one kasi nag-cross siya sa dalawang points. Okay? So if we restrict the domain of this one, then we can get its inverse. So ano yung ibig sabihin ng domain restriction? So we eliminate some parts of the graph para maging one-to-one siya. Okay? So if we try number 1, 0 to 2, what if yung graph natin ay from 0 to 2 lamang? So ang ibig sabihin niyan, kapag 0 to 2 lamang yung graph natin, then ibig sabihin we will only consider this yellow part. Okay, so if yan lang yung graph natin, masasabi ba natin na one-to-one yung function? Yes, no? Kasi isa lang siyang slanting line. Okay, so pwede ang number 1. How about number 2? If our graph is from 0 to 4, okay, so let me label the points. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So if we consider daw 0 to 4, so ibig sabihin, ito yon 0 to 4. Yan. The green shaded graph. So if yan lang yung matitira, masasabi ba natin na 1-to-1 yan? No, no? Because if again, it does not satisfy the horizontal line test. So bawal yung number 2. How about number 3? Negative 2 up to 2. Okay? So kailangan nating i-extend yung ating graph. Yan. So this is negative 1, this is negative 2. So ang i-consider lang daw natin ay negative 2 to 2. So this shaded one right here, the blue one. Okay? And again, that satisfies the horizontal line test. So this is correct. And how about for negative infinity up to infinity? So all, then that is not true. Okay? So our answer is just 2 and 3 only. 1 and 3 only. So letter B. Okay? Part 2. Determine the equation of the transform function resulting from vertically stretching this one by a factor of 6, then horizontally stretching it by a factor of 5 and translating it 3 units upward. Okay, so ano yung meron tayo? Meron tayong tatlong types of transformation dito. So meron tayong vertical stretch. So ang factor niyan ay 6. Meron din tayong horizontal stretch by a factor of 5 and vertical translation 3 units upward. Okay? So meron tayong A, meron tayong B, and meron tayong D. Okay, so again, this is our parent function. So paano natin yan isusulat? So let's get the values of A, B, and D respectively. So since vertical stretch siya, so A equals 6 automatically. Okay? Then for B, since we have horizontal stretch and 5 is our scale factor, therefore B is the reciprocal of 5. So that is 1 over 5. And for our D, since upwards yung ating translation, that is plus 3. Okay? So if we are going to write our transformed function, let's say we have f prime of x. So that is 6 times the cube root of 1/5 x plus 3. Okay, so nasa labas si plus 3. Next one, for the parent function 1 over x, transform it by applying a horizontal stretch by a factor of 3, followed by a translation 4 units upwards. So again, meron tayo ditong b and d. So yung d, madali lang kasi 4 units upwards. So we have here plus 4. And for b, horizontal stretch siya. Again, pag horizontal stretch, so to get b, so kailangan natin i-reciprocal yung scale factor. Okay, so b is equal to 1/3. Okay, so our function is f of x is equal to 1 over x. So paano kaya natin yan isusulat? So si x gagawin nating 1/3 x. So this becomes 1 over 1/3 x plus 4. Okay? So let us just simplify. What is 1 over 1/3 x? So 1 divided by 1/3 is just equal to 3. So this is 3 over x plus 4. So f prime is 3 over x plus 4. Next item, find the inverse of g. So 12x minus 3 divided by 4x. Okay? So this is our function. So since pinapahanap yung inverse, then we can say that this is a one-to-one function. Okay? So how do we get again the inverse? So interchange the variables x and y. So this becomes x equals 12y minus 3 equals 4y. Now, we have here fraction. So what we are going to do is to perform cross multiplication. Okay. So x times 4y is 4xy. Then 1 times 12y minus 3 is 12y minus 3. So lahat ng may y, ilalagay natin sa isang side. Lahat ng walang y, ilalagay sa other side. So 4xy minus 12y is equal to negative 3. Okay? So what we can say about the left side, meron siyang common factor na 4y. Okay, so we can factor out 4y. 4xy divided by 4y, so ang matitira ay x. Negative 12y divided by 4y, ang matitira ay minus 3. Okay? So na-isolate na natin si y or si 4y. Then we can divide both sides by 4 times x minus 3 para matanggal to. Para ang matitira sa left side ay y. Okay, so y is equal to negative 3 over 4 x minus 3. Again, papalitan natin yung y ng ating notation for inverse. So f inverse is equal to negative 3 over 4 x minus 3. So that is our answer for number 15. Number 16, determine an appropriate domain restriction for H to ensure its existence of the inverse. So recall our square root function, no? So, this is a semicircle. Okay? So, yung circle natin ay may radius na 3, no? Because that is x squared plus y squared equals 9. So, ang radius ng circle ay 3. So, if I graph that, okay, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So, ito yung circle natin na may radius ng 3. But since we only want the lower half, bakit lower half? Because we have here negative sign. So, ang i-consider lang natin na graph would be the lower part. So, ito lang yun. Okay? And if you can see, that function is not 1-to-1. Bakit hindi siya 1-to-1? Kasi kapag nag-pass through ako ng horizontal line, okay? So, there are two intersection points. So, paano daw natin yan gawin na 1-to-1? So, if we restrict the domain, let's say ito lang yung i-consider natin na domain, itong green shaded portion, then maksasatisfy na natin yung horizontal line test. Okay? So, ano ngayon yung magiging domain natin? So, for the green shaded area, ang magiging domain na lang natin would be from x equals 0 up to 3. Okay? So, 0, 3. So, ano pa yung pwedeng maging other answer dito? Okay, so if we consider naman yung other part, yung yellow shaded, ito yon. Okay, masasatisfy naman yung horizontal line test. And ang magiging domain natin for that ay from negative 3 up to 0. Okay, so that is also another possible answer for negative 3 to 0. Next, item 17. Sketch the graph of h given the parent function, okay, and determine also its domain and range. So, madali lang ito because this is just translation, no? So, meron tayong plus C minus D dito, no? So, ibig sabihin yan, so mag-translate tayo to the left and downwards, okay? So, we have here 3 units to the left and 3 units downward. So how do we do that? So again, we start from our parent function. 3 units to the left, so nandito na siya. And then 3 units pa downward. So our vertex would be here. Okay? Then just copy as is yung function natin. So straight line dito. Yan. Then straight ulit dito. So this is our h of x. And kapag na-drawing na natin yung graph, then we can answer the domain and range. So the domain, so take note, this is an absolute value function. So therefore, the domain is still all real numbers. Okay? However, the range ay magbabago na. So lahat ng y values na pupwede sa kanya, so that is from negative 3 pataas. Okay, so that is negative 3 to positive infinity. Number 18. So to answer number 1 and number 2, okay? So we refer to figure 2. In the figure 2, we have here x cubed as our f function and meron tayong g function which we do not know the graph yet or the equation yet. Okay? So we are going to write the equation of g. Upon observing, so the same yung shape ng ating graph, pero at different location lang siya, no? So, ibig sabihin yan, the graph of f is just translated to obtain the graph of G. So ano yung mga naging movement natin? So as you can see, nag-move tayo to the right. Okay? Okay, so if we use this as our base point, okay, so ano yung kamukha niya dito sa G? Ito yon, no? So from this point A, this becomes point A prime. So ano yung naging movement natin? So to the right ng ilang units? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 3 units to the right. Then 1 unit downward. So to get the equation of G, so that is G of X is equal to X minus 3 cube minus 1. Okay? Is G 1 to 1? So yes, this is a 1 to 1 function. Bakit siya 1 to 1? So if we use the horizontal line test, okay? So by horizontal line test, it intersects the graph only once. Okay, so one horizontal line, one intersection point. Another horizontal line, one intersection point. Last item, the graph of a one-to-one function f is shown below. So ito yun, yung blue na graph. Sketch the graph of its inverse on the same Cartesian plane and find the domain and range of f inverse. So i-graph muna natin yung f inverse, no, para malaman yung domain and range. So how do we do that? Okay, so recall that if A, B lies on the graph of f, okay, then we can say that B, A should lie on the graph of f inverse. So ang ibig sabihin yan, kapag meron kang point, let's say A, B, A yung x-coordinate, B yung y-coordinate, that is on the graph of f. Okay? So para mag-graph si f inverse, yung baliktad nun, yung point B, A, should be on f inverse. So, ibig sabihin, so 1, 0 yung nasa f, no? So, ibig sabihin, si point 0, 1 should be in f inverse. Nasaan si point 0, 1? Nandito siya. Okay? So, this is 0, 1. Also, 10, 9. So, kung 10, 9 ay nasa F, si 9, 10 should be in F inverse. So, nasaan si 9, 10? Okay, so i-ano lang natin. This is 10, this is 9. Okay, so this is 10, this is 9. So, si 9, 10 ay nandito. Okay, so this is 9, 10. So, dalawa lang naman yung points na meron tayo. So, how do we sketch F inverse? So, also, kapag given ka ng graph of F and gusto mong hanapin si graph ng F inverse, then what you can do is to just reflect the graph of F about the line of symmetry. So, ang line of symmetry natin ay itong y equals x na line. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, magre-reflect dyan yung blue graph. So, ang magiging itsura niyan kapag ni-reflect natin about this mirror line ay ganito. Okay? So, yung red na nakikita nyo sa screen nyo, so that is our graph for F inverse. Okay? Then, to answer the domain of F inverse, so just look at the red graph, no? Domain is from 0 to 9. Kasi yun lang yung bounds ng ating x values. Okay? So, from 0 up to 9. So, ito lang yung domain natin. And for the range, so nag-start tayo dito sa y equals 1 up to 10. Okay? So, ito yung y values natin. Ito yung range. So our answer for the range is from 1 to 10. Okay? So that concludes our discussion of the answers to your mock exam. So please review and go back to this video. So panoorin nyo ng paulit-ulit kung kailangan so that marami kayong masagutan sa LT2. So good luck and God bless in your exams.